Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we have another awesome video for you guys. It is part 2 of this Overcoming Arachnophobia interview series with Tyler from the Spider Shoppe. So let's go ahead, get into it, and let's talk some business. So I've kind of touched on this before in the last video as we kind of went over just kind of the buildup of everything. But more specifically when it comes to starting selling online, making that transition and actually, opening up a real business, how does that go about? How did you start to get that idea and really dive into it?
How did I start the website and how did I start selling?
Yeah, and how did you decide starting this website is the thing to do?
Yeah, well, at the time that I started the website, I was working chemical dependency, and I had a lot of personal breeding operations going on.
Yeah,
a lot of different stuff, and I was kind of selling already, like just Facebook, and
okay.
Had a relationship with a wholesaler and an importer, and I'd just buy, like one. I liked variety, right? So I'd buy one of all this different stuff, and figured, like, what did I have to lose in starting a website? Like, it was a few $100s to get started, a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
I kind of can get obsessive on things, and
right.
So
definitely, I feel like you kind of have to have a business like this,
Yeah. I mean, like right away, started with finding an artist to do the logos and getting the licenses and all that stuff, business license in the state, and getting the website. There's a lot of cool tools online. I think I got lucky with the one that I started with, as far as because the website I use is really easy, like drag and drop pictures and all these templates and stuff, so it was really easy to have a nice looking, easily functioning website,
professional website.
Yeah, for fairly cheap, and so I went live, and I kind of I've tried to remember how I managed shipping early on around my job. I can't really remember. I know I worked 4/10s, so I worked the weekends, so I think I had Monday and Tuesdays that I initially started offering shipping. So I do shipping for online orders Monday and Tuesday, and then worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. So when you're starting out shipping reptiles and spiders out, and you don't have any sort of relationship with FedEx or with the post office, are you paying completely full overnight shipping fees, as if I were to just go in and have to do this as well?
No, yeah, there's some third-party, shipping companies like Reptiles Express, Reptiles to You. We use Redline now, but Reptiles Express I used. They were the ones that had the best price at the time when I got started.
Okay.
So they offered a 30% discount over walking into FedEx and buying the label yourself.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right away, and then they have this tiered discount system. So the more volume you ship, the more discount you're gonna get. And I was always calling them hey, can I get a little bit more discount? Can I get a little bit more discount?
Yeah.
And it's asking, what is it, closed mouth don't get fed kind of thing, right?
Right.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
So just
Squeaky wheel gets fixed.
Yeah. So they were able to give
That
more
is super
discount
cool.
than
I've always wondered that, because I look at the shipping prices, and then I've gone and shipped not live animals, and I'm like, okay, this is expensive. And so whenever I'm buying an animal online, the shipping price always factors into it, and on some animals it can drastically change the price of your order. But it still is not nearly as much as I would think overnight shipping. So that makes sense. I didn't know that there were a lot of third-party vendors like that. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're losing money on shipping most of the time.
Yeah.
We wanted to stand out, and offer a discounted shipping, but that's ultimately cutting into the profits because, we're losing a few dollars on a shipping label, and then we're paying for the materials too, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like we're actually losing maybe $5 or $10
Oh, wow.
on the shipment. That's why we ask for a minimum shipping or minimum order of $50.
Okay.
Because at $50 we're just about like
Breaking even. It's starting to. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I was actually, because we got a lot of volume, and do a little bit better discount on shipping than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So I actually had shipping labels on my website as something that people could buy.
Oh, really?
I'd go and get a label for them.
That's cool.
And I actually got in trouble from the shipping company.
Oh, really?
They're like, hey, this doesn't fly.
That's funny. That's awesome.
You're not an authorized FedEx.
They're just trying to help out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I guess I put their contract or their because they can ultimately see like what account FedEx labels came from. So
okay.
It could be
You're just
tracked.
seeing it's all coming from you. That's funny.
It could be tracked back, and if you're selling labels, that's just wasn't. I was trying to take advantage of the opportunity,
I mean, hey, yeah, why not?
Yeah. If I can make a label for somebody and make $5 or $10.
Yeah, and help them out. Yeah, no, that's funny. That's awesome though.
Yeah.
That's funny that they said no to that. I wonder what they would do if you kept doing it.
Well, those that used to regularly get labels from me still do. I just can't advertise it.
Okay. Thanks. Well then, hey, nice. I like it. There's always a way around. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Because I send labels, like if I'm going to buy spiders from you and you live in Texas, I'm going to send you a label to ship it to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to pay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, I'm not going to pay the $75 that you're saying shipping costs. I'm saying, no, I'll just send you the label.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And I think that was the problem was advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to use FedEx, logos. You're not allowed to sell it as a FedEx product.
That makes sense.
So
okay,
I think I'm in the clear.
Yeah, under the radar.
Under the radar.
It was awesome. Well, to kind of wrap up my the first initial question segment about the startup of the website and just kind of the overall launch of the business. What were if there were any kind of outstanding challenges or something interesting and kind of just outstanding from that time period, or helpful that maybe somebody else is trying to start their own business?
The first thing
there's a lot.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind was this. As I mentioned, I have like ones of things, right? So, and this still can be a problem. Is like not having the spider that somebody orders.
Okay.
Not that we advertise spiders we don't have, but like this one instance, I remember I'm packing spiders, and I'm working at the table. I got the tub, I'm packing somebody, and it runs and gets away from me, and I can't find it. And then I'm calling the guy, telling him, "Hey man, I'm sorry. Like I was packing, it bolted. I can't find it. I don't have it. What do you want me to do?" Like, okay, refund. That's okay. And then in the same instance, same order, same guy. I found the spider. I just had to call him back. Like, hey, I just found it on the floor. Like,
Nice.
I got it. You're good.
Good. Coming your way. That's pretty awesome.
So,
I mean, hey, it happens, and spiders are so fast. I can't believe that. I guess I don't know how often that happens. I can't imagine it happens super often, but I can't believe that it doesn't happen maybe more often with how quick. When I see, just a second ago, I watched you kind of drop a spider from one enclosure to the other one, and even in that, when I do that, I'm like, oh god, this thing is gonna run. And then when you do it, it's like, boop, it just goes right where it needs to. And I'll see the videos on Instagram too sometimes that you guys like rehousing or like moving stuff. And for the most part, they seem to, go in the corralled direction. But it kind of surprised me that they don't bolt off more. So I guess that is kind of the arachnophobia and just fear of spiders that I have. Kind of assuming that it's gonna, at all times, take off and for my face.
Yeah, and another challenge is working with people or working as a business owner or like a manager or something. I really think that's really an area that I could really improve on. I have a hard time maybe communicating with my employees. it's kind of hard to express maybe like I guess to know what the reasonable expectations are,
Yeah.
and like how do you like stand behind like what you expect of your employees, you know,
Mhm.
like, you know, I want to have a good time, laid
Right.
back atmosphere,
Right.
but at the same time, you know, I want like I'm
It is a
paying,
business, yeah.
yeah, you're being paid to be here, like let's
Right.
find something to do.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Uh,
And I imagine that, and I'll kind of go more so into, we don't have to dive like deep into that, but I have similar question for the business front or the storefront rather than the online website. But I have to imagine too, I mean, it's all so new still, probably expanding out and actually having, you know, employees and a storefront. And not that you weren't managing the business before, you were owning and managing it, but to a different extent, you know, in a more like interpersonal level, in a place like this rather than in your own home and like where it still is your startup foundation, you know.
yeah, the people that, you know, work for me I consider friends, you know,
Yeah.
and so sometimes maybe that's a little bit, you know, maybe more expectations of me as an employee, or like more slack expected or something, you know. It's like I remember all the managers that I have had have always been pretty distant and cold and like
Yeah.
reserved with what they share.
Yeah.
And I mean, I came from counseling. It's like pretty open, like honesty. Like almost sometimes I worry about like maybe I share too personal, like with my employees. Just thinking about professionalism, you know.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a good balance there. I think it is really important still to have like a friendship level to it. At least I prefer that. I think I like to like my boss. I'm leaving a job right now where it's a bummer because the management is very like that. I don't feel like I have a very good relationship with them. But with my fellow employees, I have like a very good relationship, like a very strong relationship. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but there also definitely is a push and pull there, because I've noticed that too in my own ways and own work life, where things start to become a little bit too friendly, and then there becomes a lot of slack and a lot of just like, oh well, you'll forgive me. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely another, you know, challenge when you ask about challenges. That's has been, you know, from my first employees to currently, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that there's some improvement and some experience, right? As you can get, experience is what you get when things don't go your way.
Yeah, definitely.
Or something like that.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, I mean, yeah, you gotta fail to succeed.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm optimistic that we're moving in the right direction. Then
Yeah.
there is improvement, and
Yeah.
I am capable.
Well, I mean, man, a year and a half ago to where you're at right now, I would say there's improvement. Definite improvement.
Yeah.
All right, so for the next kind of idea and topic, I'm very curious about Spider Shop East. When I first saw your website and started looking at it and shopping and getting interested in you, I had noticed there was a Spider Shop East, and I figured and then there was Spider Shop West, which was I picked up from you when I ordered from Spider Shop West. So I assume Spider Shop East is East Coast of the United States, and then it's no longer up. I was just curious as to kind of what it was and what went on.
Yeah, Spider Shop East, something that we had on the website for, I don't know, maybe 9 months or so. How it worked, you know, I had a guy on the East Coast that was a wholesaler. He only sold to other businesses, and I got to talking with him about potentially, you know, working together, essentially like a drop shipping situation.
Okay.
So we put together all these, like, you know, Google Sheets and tracking inventory and all this stuff, and how, you know, set it up how it could work. And you know, I'd get orders from Shop East, and I would print off pack slips and print off shipping labels and send them to his employees, who would ship them, you know, on the day that we scheduled. It seemed to work well because I could offer, you know, reduced shipping to the East Coast, shipping price, and we could also offer a lot more species that I didn't necessarily, you know, didn't have to buy up front.
Yeah.
So I think it worked out for us as well as for him, you know, to get sales that he might not have otherwise got.
Yeah.
And it worked good for a while. And we stopped doing it just because the logistics kind of got more complicated than we anticipated.
Okay.
There was some more of the, you know, stuff not being available, and then going back and forth on, you know, addressing these things, and just overall being a little bit busier.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as starting to do my own imports, right?
Okay.
So I was paying a premium for this service,
Okay.
right? Like if I was going to go and buy a spider from him wholesale and keep it on my shelf and resell it, the margins were going to be a lot better than if I just forwarded the order and essentially drop ship, right? I'm getting a slimmer margin for his willingness to do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of our agreement. But now, as I'm like importing and have a better margin, it didn't make sense to me to ship something from the East Coast that maybe I had,
Right.
and you know, I might be paying twice the cost for it to have him ship it than if I just ship the one on my shelf.
That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, I think it really lended to our credibility and our kind of spread, I guess, or our, you know, reputation. Maybe it was really grateful for the opportunity and for the experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is no longer. And after we, you know, went to just West Coast or just one shipping, we dropped the shipping rates, so it's $40 all over the country.
Yeah, which is great, because I feel like the usual live animal overnight shipping fee is like $60 or more. I feel like every time that I've ever shipped something, it's almost always a $60 charge or more.
Yeah, the $40 is for two orders of $200 or more.
Okay.
So there is still that minimum order.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if you're gonna spend a couple $100, I'm always amazed by people that buy like one versicolor.
Yeah.
So you're paying $30 for a spider and then $50 to ship.
Yeah, you paid more for shipping than the spider. Yeah, that's why. Oh my gosh, when I found out that you were local, I was so excited. I was looking and I was like, oh, this is actually how much it costs. I was like, this is amazing. I never get to do this on a reptile or anything like animal website, like anything like that. Yeah, it's funny.
We had a lot of requests for that on the East Coast, but that wasn't something that was offered.
Oh, they didn't do. Okay.
No pickups.
Yeah.
So that wasn't an advantage, you know, in that regard. But yeah, I hear the same thing from people local all the time.
Yeah, it's so cool. Has the storefront so far in the couple months, has it been profitable, or are you still in the area of like, I mean, you had to buy the storefront, so you gotta pay that?
Yeah, the storefront is paying the bills, and there's some, you know, we're in the green on one full-time employee and the rent and utilities and stuff like that. We're in the green, but to look at the upfront cost was like $20,000.
Oh wow!
From the remodel to the deposit to the materials for the remodel, you know, the shelving, all this stuff was pretty spendy to just get started.
Yeah.
The vinyls on the window, like it all added up really fast, and so I'm not really seeing much returns on that. But we're just hoping that, you know, over time more people will know about the store.
Yeah.
And we'll be busier, and
yeah.
For now, at least it is a place that you know, further lends credibility, gives us a place to work that's not in my house.
Yeah, definitely.
There was times where, like, you know, I'm not going to have employees working in my garage when I'm not home.
Right.
So here, you know, we can schedule people, and I don't have to be here.
Yeah. And when you're at shows and stuff, or away going like you just were a different state for a little while.
Yeah.
It's nice for that too. Yeah.
I almost wonder about moving to a different place, but then there's so much cost involved in just starting, you know.
That's one thing that I wonder about Washington State with there's not a lot of reptile and exotics or even like tropical fish stores and stuff anymore in Washington State. And so I wonder if that is like what the reasoning is to that. I don't know if it's because, I mean, I assume it's in part because of the laws with some exotics. I also don't know if Washington has less of a like thriving reptile hobbyist population, but I also then I mean, you go to the expos anywhere around here, and they're freaking slam packed. So I feel like there's got to be, you know, a pretty equal amount of reptile enthusiasts in this area as there are in California or wherever, Florida or something. But yeah, that is. I was curious a little bit as to how, you know, like, is Washington where you chose because that's where you live, and it's just like, you know, that's where you're opening the shop. And if you were to move, is there somewhere else you would want to go? Is there a specific state that you know of, or a specific place that you would be drawn to?
I just consider, you know, like the cost of like living or cost of housing is much cheaper in other parts of the country.
Definitely.
You know, Tennessee and
Texas,
Texas, like, man, we get like 3 times the house for the cost of the house, and then for like workspace would be like much more space, and but that's not really anything we're seriously considering.
I wouldn't imagine so, but it's interesting to think about why there aren't more reptile stores or anything. Not that they're even that popular everywhere, but it's so exciting when I see that there's one in Washington. I'm like, oh, no way, another one.
Yeah, we didn't do much like research into like how many stores there were. We knew there was a store that closed right before we opened.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't far away here in Lakewood. And it was kind of a question, like, why did they shut down? Is it because there's not enough business?
Yeah.
Or why, you know? And we asked one of the wholesalers for dry goods, like, hey, did you serve them? Like, yeah, like what was going on? And they shared that, you know, I remember it wasn't necessarily about business, but they thought that maybe the products they were selling weren't the best.
Yeah.
It was like high-end dog food, and everybody had that or something, you know.
Yeah.
And then also I think there was like some illness in the family or something like that that led to their closing. But someone else you brought up when you were asking about the reptile enthusiasts, you know, here in Washington, there was a statistic released by who was it? The Super Zoo show. Actually, don't cite me on that, but from somewhere. I think they collect the information at Super Zoo or something. But ultimately, 3% of the population owns reptiles.
Really?
This is what they said.
3% of the population
before COVID, and then 5% after COVID.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised by that. People were staying home and went to the pet store and saw a little leopard gecko, and they were like, "I need that. I need one of those little things." Yeah, that's so interesting, because I wonder that. I mean, you know, with the YouTube channel, right, and with doing focusing around reptiles, I feel like could potentially be harder to grow a big audience because it is more of a niche community. I also think in that regard it can be easier to grow a big audience because it's a niche community. The people that love it. But it is interesting for me to think. I often think about, like, you know, how many people have reptiles, because how many people would see a video of mine potentially that don't really care for reptiles that much, or maybe just barely, you know, have one, but they're not into it. But it'd be enough for them to click on it. That's interesting though. 5% of the population after COVID has reptiles.
Yeah, Josh.
That's pretty cool.
From Josh's Frogs actually shared that with me.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's funny, I was just on Josh's Frogs website. I'm waiting. I want some firebelly toads so bad. It's like I am like obsessed with getting some right now, and nobody has them. And it's about the time right now where some little babies should start popping up on Morph Market and stuff. And I know Josh's Frogs has decent prices on theirs. But yeah, it's funny. I'm on their website pretty often right now because I'm like, come on, one of these days it's gonna be back in stock. It's just a matter of time.
What do you like about the toads?
I used to have firebelly toads. They were like the first thing reptile I had was a corn snake. But then I got these firebelly toads, and they were just like, they're cool. They like the mossy, all textured back, and then the fire belly.
Is that red or?
Yeah, it's like red and black, and it's all like more like I don't even know, like kind of cool. Yeah, it looks like lava, like that kind of chunky, wavy, droopy flow on their stomach. And their back is all mossy green. They're also just like pretty hardy frogs. I used to see them all the time at Petco. They'd have them like everywhere, every Petco. And then I looked it up. Something happened on the import of them. There's some. They didn't get. I think it did get banned. Something happened with it, and so all of a sudden they just disappeared. They're from, I don't know. They're from, I want to say China. or Asia area, and yeah, I think all you can do is captive breed them now.
Explains.
Yeah, but they're so cool. I used to have them. I want another. I want to do like a. I don't know if I want to do bioactive, but I definitely want to do some live plants, like a half water, half land type. Cool cage. It'd be a cool series to make. All right, so for this next portion of questions, this one I am very, very interested in. This one again, we like barely touched on, but I didn't want to actually go into it in the last video because I knew we would in this video. You had shared a post on Instagram that really kind of sparked my thoughts for this. I mean, I think everybody who buys reptiles online just has this kind of question and idea anyways. But you had shared a post that roughly rounded out estimates and like percentages of your sales and what it goes to as far as, you know, shipping and then bills and then paying for the spider and then the spider care, everything. And then the profit margins. I'd be very interested to hear, you know, your thoughts on that. If you were to sell, obviously each spider is different, but if you were to sell a spider, you know, kind of where that money disperses out to.
Yeah, I think people that resell generally hope to at least double their money on, you know, if they buy something for $50, they want to sell it for 100.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got started, I think that was kind of what I saw, you know, compared to the wholesale prices, was like, okay, these guys are doubling their money. I remember Simply Spiders was kind of popular back then, and I knew where he was getting stuff from, and he was doubling, you know, listing things for double the money. And when I started, I figured that I would be comfortable with margins of 40%. So if I bought a spider for $60, I would sell it for 100. Now, when you're buying a spider, like on Craigslist or whatever, people are like looking at the price of a spider, like, okay, it's $100, I'm buying a spider for $100. But when you get into this kind of a business, the spider is just part of it, you know. It's like the service behind the spider. Like there's a lot of time and effort, logistics, housing, care, overhead, all this stuff that goes into being able to offer that spider, you know, that has to be covered, you know. So back then, you know, with 40% margin just on the sale price, you know, we're not talking about like what I was paying my employee for 3 or 4 days a week. We're not talking about the loss on shipping. We're not talking about the loss of the spider that ran out of the cup and disappeared, or like the DOAs that do happen. And then we reship for free, so we're taking that as a hit. So you're looking at like 40% margin, like dwindle down really fast, you know, to maybe 10 or 15%. You know, it fluctuates, but yeah, it's like when I was in college, I did, you know, went for business, and we had to do this like I can't remember what they call it, like a business plan, and I pretty much analyzed Costco, and Costco, like their margin's like 3%, you know, or less. It's like, and I don't know why that kind of business structure always appealed to me, like less margins and more. So that's kind of always been my kind of maybe aim. Like I posted Celedonia yesterday, and people are calling me and saying, we're getting screenshots because we just sold them for $240 and $225, and they're upset because you're selling them for $200. And I mean, it puts me in a rough spot, you know. I don't want to be the bad guy, but also I'd rather sell them like quick and get more and sell those quick.
I mean, from the consumer standpoint, that's what you want, you know.
There's a function in calculus that you can note the sale prices and like how much sold, and you'll get this graph of like ultimately where the profit peaks at, and it'll tell you like what the price is and how many you're, you know, multiplied by how many you would sell
to get that peak profit.
And it's not something I've ever like implemented. But and it'd be hard to track all the different products, you know. It'd be easier to do with like a single product, but I just think about that, you know, if you're gonna sell something for $400 and maybe sell one, $350, maybe sell a couple, $100, maybe sell 20. Like, what would you rather do? Would you rather?
You're gonna make more off that 20 at 100.
It can vary. But, but that's definitely kind of what goes what inspires me, I guess, or
I
what.
think it's super important and very interesting for people to be able to hear about just the different ways that the money is put into it. Not that money is everything, but I mean, it's a huge part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of costs that go into it. Sometimes, even just a couple weeks ago, I was pretty uncomfortable with the sales for the month.
Mm.
And then we put out that sale, which drove some sales, and I just came up to a collection that did well, and I just picked up some Caledonia yesterday that should do well. So kind of seeing the month turn around now.
Yeah.
For sales. But yeah, it can be a fine line sometimes.
Have you experienced that it might be different coming off of COVID too? Because I'm sure that boosted and heightened just overall sales. So it might be just at kind of a downswing comparatively overall. But do you notice that there are any times of the year, like months and times of the year, that are heavier in sales?
Yeah, definitely in November.
Yeah. We
do the Black Friday sale, and that's like the best. That's the best we've ever done was last November.
Yeah.
May, like I mentioned, I was worried about this month. Looking back last year at May was actually one of the low months.
Okay.
Yeah, and I even had a bunch of Caledonia last May that I sold, and it was still like a low.
I wonder if that'll kind of trend will end up repeating around like I wonder why that is. Pre-summer, people are just
starting to gear up for vacations and.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, thinking about. Yeah, that makes sense.
Outdoors things.
Yeah, going out, spending money on that kind of stuff right now.
Yeah, but I don't really have a ton of data. I've got 2 years. We're going on 3 years of data, so it's I don't really have like pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Tom Patterson, he shared that COVID really took off for sales, and that I guess some have said, like the wholesalers shared the same thing and says like it's reeling back now, slowing down. But our sales have kind of plateaued, around for like the last year. It's kind of been at a plateau, which is not what I would hope.
Yeah.
I would hope for a steady climb.
Right.
And so, yeah, I kind of have a goal in mind for some monthly sales that we hit in November, but I'd like to keep it there.
Right.
So, yeah, and advertising, that's another part of the expense. Like,
definitely.
We pay for Google ads and Facebook ads, and it's like people wouldn't even know about us if we didn't pay that.
Yeah, I think that that is like one of the things about being in Washington, as far as the storefront goes. Not that there's not a lot of hobbyists and enthusiasts in the area and people that would be very excited, but I feel like it's hard to reach those people in Washington in a public way just because reptiles in Washington aren't a hot topic, so it's hard to push that topic. Maybe that's not true. Maybe it's everywhere. But I don't know. I feel like places that are like tropical climates that have reptiles that you're constantly seeing them at, I feel like it'd be, I don't know, more likely or easier to get the idea around. So it'll be interesting kind of as time continues and the storefront has more time to soak in and be like, more well known.
Yeah. People still come in and it's like, oh, we just found you on a Google search.
Yeah, and I saw I knew that you guys were opening, and then there was a couple months where I didn't hear about it, and then it was open and I was like, oh my god, that's right, I need to get in there, and I was so freaking excited. So yeah.
And that may be failure on my part, that I'm not advertising enough. But did you see that billboard that we did in Fife?
I did.
So for a month of a billboard, it was $2,500.
Oh wow.
And it rotates like, there's 8 people. It's a digital board, so it rotates every 8 seconds.
Okay.
So you're an eighth of a day.
Yeah.
And nobody came in here saying I saw your billboard.
Really?
So it's like almost like that was just a total waste of.
Yeah, that I feel like is the hard part. Isn't even just like doing or paying the money or doing the thing, but finding what the advertisement is that's actually gonna get and actually gonna reach the people. And even that, I don't know.
It's
interesting, like
putting a billboard closer to the store. Like, what would you put on there to like convey like, hey, there's a pet store in your neighborhood, and here's the address, because they only want like 3 or 4 words,
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you?
I wonder if like Instagram if you can pay to have local advertisements.
We do that, yeah.
Yeah, because that, I mean, I almost feel like social media would be a better, I mean, not better, but more potential for somebody to see and come in, because they could, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
If I saw it, you can see it, and I can look you up really quick, and I can be like, oh, dang, look at all that. I kind of want to go in there.
Yeah, but you can target like reptile interest and like Lakewood, within 20 miles of Lakewood.
Yeah, okay. But all right, I am not ready, but I think I'm ready to hop in to holding another tarantula. I think we're gonna step it up, not like to the max, but like, last time held a very beginner tarantula, but then also a huntsman spider. Wasn't expecting that one. So I figured maybe, bump it up to like a level 2, level 3 type spider versus the level 1 tarantula I held last time.
Yeah, I had in mind maybe a Somapolis.
Yeah.
This is Somapolis Victoria.
Oh, this is the one?
Which I don't think they would really bite.
Okay.
But they are kind of flighty, and I'm hoping we're not going to end up with the spider on the ground.
Okay.
Or having to chase the spider.
I hope not, too.
But yeah, we'll just maybe go slow and should be okay.
All right. That sounds good. Let's do this.
Yeah, so Somapolis Victoria, it goes by a common name, Mexican half and half, Mexican red and black, or the Darth Maul tarantula.
So you had slings of this guy like a year or so ago, and my old coworker had actually got one and was super excited about it, and got me super excited about it, and I almost got a sling, and then I ended up actually getting a different spider from you. But this is a bigger one. Wow.
Yeah, we've got 5 adult females now, and a couple of males. So it's definitely something we're focused on trying to breed.
Nice. Yeah.
Really pretty spider. We actually have the import that I mentioned. I've got a bunch of juveniles coming.
Oh, okay.
So, hoping that she's not gonna. There should be a paintbrush in that behind the spray bottle. There should be a paintbrush in that container. Yeah, thanks. Oh, yeah, she's gonna be. Doesn't want to be messed with. Yeah, she's biting the brush. So it might not be the best one.
Okay, if she's biting the brush, maybe we do a different one.
I've held this before.
Okay, that makes me feel good.
Yeah. So I might be a little bit angry. Maybe that's a sign.
Oh God! All right. Oh
So
that's fine.
maybe we'll try with another one.
This is her. I'll try and get some B-roll shots of this one so you guys could see the one that almost took my hand off.
So this is one that we have for sale. This is also Somapolis. This is Somapolis Polker.
Okay.
It's a big female, and she might act pretty similarly. See, they're kind of just a little bit more shy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm afraid that it'll stay in one spot and then maybe just bolt.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just saw her take her fangs to the plastic, which not a good sign. Yeah, see, I'm even kind of nervous on this one.
I mean, we can find a third. I'm okay. We still have another video to bump it up, so if I get bit in this one, then I gotta get bit in the third one. If it's bumping it up, it's only right.
Okay, let's leave that one out.
All right, it's okay. Their time is the charm, as they say.
This is another Somapolis. This one actually the first time I've ever had this spider. This is Somapolis Langan Bucheri.
Okay.
It's from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Really not a common spider in the hobby. There we go. A little bit smaller, a little bit less intimidating.
All right, everybody. So we're here to hold a tarantula. As you just saw, we were getting into some cages with some flighty tarantulas, and I actually held 2 after that. Held one, it went well. Held a second one, did not go well. It jumped, ran down my body and then ran back up, and we had to catch it. And I promise you, I am the most disappointed to say that my footage stopped. My storage ran out on the phone, and it cut the video right before we got the first one out of its home to hold, of course. So we're back, spider number 3 for you guys, though really only spider number 1. But who are we holding here?
So this gonna keep it rolling with the Samopoeus. So this is Samopoeus armenia, also known as Venezuelan sun tiger. This one is a little bit smaller than the other 2. It's just a juvenile.
Yes.
Still will come out with threat pose at times.
Yeah.
Still kind of quick.
I have a baby of this. They're fast. I
Yeah.
had a bigger one. He unfortunately passed away, which is what prompted me to get another sling. Let's do it. So the ones that I did hold last time, even though they're not on video, were...
See a little bit.
Yeah, see this one I'm more nervous to hold than the other ones, even than the one that ran around. I've seen this one be quick. Oh, see. I don't know if this is the Karsten level spider right now. This might be another one where I freeze after it starts running around my body. Oh, Venezuelan sun tiger tarantula. Oh, he just jumped on you! Oh, I saw him tapping and I was like, oh god, is he about to bite me?
Yeah, that was interesting. I've never seen.
He's like tap, tap, tap and then jumped.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
I've seen versicolor do that. Not totally surprised. It was an arboreal, but that'd be cool for the footage.
That is super cool.
Dragon.
Ah, man. Yes. Alright, I don't want him to jump on me like this though. Like, see, he's looking like he's gonna jump on me right now. Look at that face. If it jumps on me, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Look at those long legs. It's the versicolor, yeah.
Armenia.
Or no, not the versicolor. Yes, the Armenia,
Yeah.
the Venezuelan sun tiger. It's funny. I have the versicolor and the sun tiger. So I'm talking about them both. Man, they are quick though. Those. Oh, he's hopping.
It's cool that it did the tap thing before it jumped again. That's
Yeah, that is super cool.
interesting. Yeah, I haven't really handled these like intentionally very much.
Yeah.
Kind of just like if we're packing and it runs away or something. There was a local that got bit by a camberjai, and she didn't have a very good reaction to it.
Oh.
So that's kind of always made me nervous about these.
Huh. I have, when I got the sun tiger from you quite a while ago, you like landed it up to land on my face, trying to get him to jump on me. I did read that they are one of the faster, oh my god, New World species, as well. Gosh, right next to my face with him, as well as one of the more venomous of the New World. Like, not that any of the New Worlds are really gonna get you bad, but this is one of the more painful, which was an interesting read. But they look so freaking cool. I mean, I got one because of the orange striping on the butt, and then also really mainly on the fingers and on the arms. Those orange stripes going down are insane. Super, super pretty. And man, yeah, they are quick. I did not think I'd be holding a sun tiger today. Didn't think I'd be holding 3 tarantulas today either. But hey, you guys unfortunately are only seeing this one. But definitely not being unfortunate to hold. Those jumps were awesome. Very, oh god. Yeah, go back home. Is that a male or a female?
They're females.
Oh, female.
Yeah, it looks like it just molted. So we had these on the site for 2.5 to 3 inch. It looks like it's maybe 3.5 now.
This is roughly the size of mine when it passed. I had him from a sling for a little under a year. He got basically just that, almost the exact same size. Well, that was holding the Armenia, the Venezuelan sun tiger. Definitely did not just call it the wrong thing. And I held two. What were the other ones I held? Just for note, even though it's not on there.
It's the Samapoas pulcher,
Okay.
Panama blonde,
Panama blonde.
and the Samapoas lingonbucheri, which is the Venezuelan chevron.
And which one jumped around my body?
The pulcher,
The pulcher, and that's the
Panama blonde.
Panama blonde. They were very cool. Unfortunately, that footage is not there, but we're gonna have to hold some more tarantulas in the future and be willing to bet that it'll be more jumping and sprinting around the body. All right, well, that is gonna do it for this second iteration of overcoming arachnophobia with Tyler from the Spider Shop. Thank you again so much for having me, letting me do this, holding the tarantulas. It is a heart-racing experience, super fun to talk, super great to just, learn more about the hobby and a little bit more in depth on your side, the breeder and the business side of things. I hope you guys all enjoyed. There will be another episode of this third one, wrapping it up in the future, and hope to do a lot more videos here. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.